Hey, it's me, SK Nicholas. Another video. It's becoming an obsession now. Another obsession to add to my list of many obsessions. But no, I wanted to do a video where I kind of expanded on what I was talking about yesterday or in the previous video. And in the previous video, I was talking about the freedom of failure and how failure is nothing to be scared of, and how I personally have found embracing failure to be liberating, not only as a person but as a writer. And what I wanted to talk about was in terms of the creative act. For me, the creative act has become a kind of it's become my faith. Now, for someone that wasn't particularly, say, you know, creative, that might sound a bit far-fetched. It might sound a bit kind of, a bit dubious. But no, for me, writing has become my faith. It's what I believe in. And there's a specific reason, really, why that has come about. And several years ago now, in 2011, I was diagnosed with depression, and kind of stemmed from sort of one thing in particular, which um, I mention in my writing. I've talked about it in the two journals. So yeah, I was diagnosed with depression, and for a long time I didn't know really. It wasn't something that I talked about. I didn't feel like I could talk about it, especially as I guess as a man. It's not something that you feel very comfortable being open about. And I think there's some sort of statistic that says that something like the biggest killer for men between a certain age group is suicide. Because again, I think for men they suffer from these issues, these mental health issues, and they don't feel like they can really talk about it. So I suffered. And for a long time, for a number of years, again, I wasn't open about it. I didn't feel as though I could be open about it. And it did a lot of damage. It did a lot of damage to myself. It did damage to the relationships that I was in. And yeah, so me not being able to express myself, not being able to talk about my issues was a very poisonous thing for a long time. The one thing though that has helped me is writing. It's the creative act, and the reason is quite simple. It allows me to express myself. And so for a number of years, I didn't feel like I could ever really express how I felt. I could never kind of really talk about weakness. When I got into my writing, really, sort of maybe sort of 3, nearly 4 years ago, it allowed me to just be open. And being open is again being kind of it's revolutionized who I am, not just as a writer, but more importantly as a person. And I think the line, whereas maybe a little while ago me as a writer and me as a person were two distinct separate entities, now I think I am a writer. It's who I am, and as a person is what I do. And it is being open and being honest and expressing myself has just transformed. It's transformed me. It really has. When I was first diagnosed with depression, I was given sort of antidepressants, and I was told, "Hey, have these, you'll be okay." Didn't do anything for me. Ended up flushing them down the toilet. But no, that for me, the one thing that has helped me, that has shaped me, has been the creative act. It has become my faith. And again, sounds dramatic, but it is. The reason why I I do what I do is the reason why I put so much effort. Again, shameless plug, but the reason why I've put so much effort into this and into this as well is because it gives me a sense of catharsis. It has become so important to me. Sitting down every night, every day, and writing, it is such a fundamental core. It's the fund. It is who I am. It is what I am. And I was saying yesterday, well, in the previous video, how I enjoy, I enjoy, but I embrace being broken, and I do. For me now, I really embrace being broken. It again, it is who I am, and I don't feel kind of ashamed of it. Probably I did for a long time. I was, you know, even before I was kind of diagnosed, I was always quite an odd chap, still am. But yeah, I was never really comfortable kind of embracing that part of me. I always tried in a weird way to sort of fit in, to be kind of sort of socially acceptable. But these last few years, I've kind of said, you know what, I don't want anything to do with that. I want to be who I am. And being who I am, knowing myself, has just, again, it has transformed me. And I'm drawn to that, you know, in all the books I read, in the movies I watch, the music I listen to. I'm drawn to individuals that have been in my position, that have embraced being sort of broken, that have embraced being odd, being a bit strange. And I love that. And when I meet people, I if I can meet someone that expresses themselves in that way, that someone that isn't afraid to kind of to lay out their flaws and to say, yeah, this is who I am. That's wonderful. That's beautiful, and it's sexy as well. You know, I really don't care much, as I mentioned in the previous video, I don't care much for people that, you know, that put on a face, that kind of try to fit in, that try to sort of be like everyone else, you know, that try to sort of be accepted in that way. I just think it's nauseating. It really is, when you get people that just want to disappear into the machine. I just find that so, God, it's awful. And to think that at one point I was like that. I really was like that. I wanted to be like everyone else. I wanted to be sort of socially accepted. I wanted to, you know, to wear this kind of mask. Whereas again now, and over the past few years, I don't care about that. And it gives me a great sense of catharsis being open and talking about these issues that at one point I tried to bury. And there's no other, there's nothing else that comes close to, for me to put down how I feel into words, and then for someone else to read those words and then to say to me, wow, that's had an effect. That for someone to resonate with my words, for someone to read what I do and to kind of say to me, to tell me that it's had an effect on them, that it's made them feel a certain way. Again, for me, it's incredible. It doesn't put money in my pocket. It doesn't put money in my pocket. It or anything like that. But I wouldn't give that up for the world. It's literally become my faith. Being open, expressing myself, not being afraid to kind of talk about those issues that a lot of people don't enjoy talking about because it's murky, because they see that, you know, being open about certain weaknesses, it's, again, a lot of people ridicule it because it's like, God, don't, you know, it's a scary thing. And but I'm always drawn to people that are sad, and that are broken and that struggle, because I find that it's human. It's human, and it's a beautiful thing, really. So again, you know, when I've been at work, I've heard sort of customers, just they talk, and you know, I sort of eavesdrop, and I like people watching, and I see people and they just go on, and they talk about their promotion at work, and they've got this new car they've got, and it's just so empty, and it's just boring. I'm so bored by that kind of mundane kind of bullshit. I'm so drawn now to people that are like me, that again are broken, because I think it's a beautiful thing to hold your hands up and to say, look, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. But again, for me, that's liberating. It's liberated me. Again, these two books, it's my confusion. There's a quote by Kerouac that says, you know, I've got nothing to offer, but my own confusion. And this is my confusion. This is me kind of saying, you know what, I'm fucked. But again, I wouldn't change that for the world. And when people kind of respond to what I do and they say, God, you know, I've read your words and they've had such an effect on me. And it is wanted them to be as open. There's nothing else that comes close. There really isn't. So yeah, I wanted to say that again in terms of why I'm broken. You know, again, it stems from those issues in the past that I've had and will always continue to have. But again, I've embraced it. I've embraced who I am, and there's nothing else has ever sort of given me that kick up the bum, really. It's a wonderful feeling. I've made this video. I've honestly tried. I've attempted to make this video about 20 fucking times. Each time the lighting is mental. It's grey outside. It's grey, and yet the way that the contrast. It's like you would think that it was sunny and there were clouds going past. I have lost my temper so much. Um, I'm not going to make outtakes. I don't know how to, but if you could see me making these videos and all of a sudden just screaming and shouting, effing and blinding, calling the laptop the C word. The C word has been bounding around today so much. I've gone absolutely livid. But yeah, so again, for me, being broken is nothing to be ashamed of. And I think that again, I'm drawn to people that are honest and that they wear their heart on on their sleeves and they kind of say, yeah, this is who I am, and they thrive on it. I'm not saying that I kind of I I get a kick out of being sad. I don't think that that's not what I'm about, but it's just I'm naturally that kind of person. I naturally have sort of melancholy. It's in my blood, it's in my bones. And again, for a number of years, I did suffer from that, and I didn't really have anything to show for it. But since I am really embraced the creative act, it's transformed me, and it's become my faith, and it's why I write every day, and it's my drug. I guess, yeah, obviously it's my drug. You know, I tried taking sort of, tablets for it. I just put them down the toilet. I thought, this is rubbish. You know, why am I trying to sort of be better? Why am I trying to fix myself through drugs and shit like that? I think for me, nothing has come close to me sort of just being who I am and accepting myself. And again, for me, I just think that it's totally liberated me as a person and as a writer. So yeah, I just thought I'd make a video and expand upon it. I've gone through this now like literally 20 times, and at varying stages I've just lost my temper and stormed off, cussing, the words, the dirty words that come out of my mouth, such a potty mouth. But yeah, so again, the second journal for damned lovers, it's my confusion. It's me basically just holding my hands up and saying, yeah, I'm a broken individual, but this is what I'm about. This is kind of I celebrate it. I celebrate how sort of broken I am, and I've done it in both of these books. That's a lot of brokenness, wouldn't you agree? That says quite a lot. That really does say quite a lot. But yeah, I could do a reading, couldn't I? I should have prepped really. I should have. Um, I really should have picked a piece beforehand. I genuinely didn't, and now I'm panicking, thinking, "Oh God, which one do I talk about?" Um, there's one here. Not lovers. Not lovers. My favourite piece, one of my favourite pieces, is called The Lovers. Let's just talk. Let's just make a read. I'll probably fuck this video up as well. Here we go. Not lovers. As we rise and climb higher than the stars, we are nothing but celestial. Rushing through dead air, we fuck's Fuck, I'll start again. We tissed. Jesus Christ. I'm not making this video again. Bollocks to it. Not lovers. As we rise and climb higher than the stars, we are nothing but celestial. Rushing through dead air, we twist and scream, and as I turn to face you, tears are rolling from the corners of your beaming, childlike eyes. Laughing so hard, your hair trails behind you like a magic carpet, or a blanket caught in a storm, or the vines of a tree bursting through a sheet of ice that covers a lake where the bodies of our ex-lovers rest far beneath the surface. It's cold, maybe Thursday, but it could be Tuesday. Flying above the town we both love and loathe in the same breath, we observe the lights that shimmer under our feet with pure fascination. Minutes before, when we were eating hot dogs and pushing through the crowd, I stated my hatred of success, and that for as long as I lived I wanted to be considered a failure and nothing more. Smiling at me as I ranted while rolling a cigarette, I went on to declare how I didn't consider myself to be a lover, and that the very term made me feel ill, and that for as long as we were together we wouldn't talk about love but instead hate, and that we would never make love but instead fuck, and that I wasn't your baby and neither were you mine. I stated that I was a bad machine and that by sleeping with me you were just as defected. Romance is dead, I cried, and society a hive for insects, and the life pursuit of money and social acceptance worse than murder, and punishable by being boiled alive or hung from the neck from the lampposts of Leicester Square. When I finished, I smoked my cigarette and complained about how cold my ears were. Taking me by the hand, you said you agreed with everything I had to say, and that until the day came when you couldn't stand me any longer and plunged the knife deep into my heart while I slept, we would be against the rest. And so we walked and talked and ate candy floss and climbed to the stars, and when those tears clung to your cheeks, I reached out and traced their path across your flesh. And even though I was terrified that the carriage would derail, causing us to plummet 50 feet to our certain deaths, the sounds of joy escaping your chest made me feel more alive than I had ever dared to imagine. Yeah, not lovers. I like that piece. I fucked up a few times, but I don't really care. I'm not making this video again. There's another one I'll do. This one's a bit naughty. Apologies if you're offended. It's called Dysmorphia, and it's quite similar to Life is a Fear, the first piece. It's almost like a yeah, whatever, I can't be bothered. Dysmorphia. Jumping a red light, we recite the words of Bukowski to make us stronger. Hitching up your skirt, you watch my fevered reaction with glee while flashing those blood-red gums that take us even deeper. Orgasms, suburbia, redheads into brunettes as young lovers become estranged in the time it takes to chew a nipple. Sometimes there's milk, while at others there's the slightest touch of our hands as we pretend not knowing each other. If you give me the gun, I'll place it beneath his chin and blow his brains out. And as you dance in a spray of blood and fragments of bone that hang suspended in thin air, I'll take a photo so your beauty won't fade like everything else. Puffing away on my cigarette, and blowing smoke out the window, you tell me how you finger yourself, fantasizing about Elizabeth Bathory, and how although it makes you feel dirty, it helps liberate you from all your past lives. Slipping those very same fingers into my mouth one by one, you go ahead and place your lips against my neck before declaring that nothing will come between us, and no matter what will become of our mortal remains, we shall never be apart. When I first saw you, I knew it was more than just lust. Don't get me wrong, the image of your new body flowering at my tongue kept me up all night for days on end, and the geometry of your smile left me in a daze for weeks. But there was something that passed back and forth between our hearts that spoke to me louder than anything I had ever heard. If you let me cut you, I promise to be gentle. If you give yourself to my whims, I'll do my best to turn these days into dreams. So yeah, this video has been plagued by botch after botch after botch. But I hope you enjoyed those two pieces I read out. I should have made an effort to pick them beforehand. But yeah, I'm not making this video again because I'll just go absolutely mental. But yeah, I'm SK. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, be who you want to be. If you're fucked, then you're fucked. If you're broken, you're broken. Don't make any excuses. Don't try and apologize for for who you are. Embrace it and get something out of it. This is what I have to show for being a fuck up. It's not too bad, really. So yeah, I'm SK, and don't lose your temper like I've done. Or if you do, at least try and get something out of it at the end of it. God bless, and I'll catch you later. I've done it again. Fucking hell. Botch after botch.